God, these fingerprint boys make a mess. Anyway, I asked you all to come here today because I was hoping Sergeant Lewis would be here by now. Anyway, can't be helped. Yes, this was Anne Staveley's house, and in there is where she died. From that beam, she tied a cord to that hook. I expect it was normally used for hanging up her washing. Shut the door, and you can't even tell she's there. That's what happened to me. I came here on the day she died, and I didn't even know she was hanging there. That was while you were here, Mrs. Richards.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yes, you were upstairs going through Anne's things, looking for any letters that might incriminate your husband. Much as yesterday afternoon, I was going through your husband's office, looking for any letters that might incriminate him. You found love letters. I found a blackmail note. What did you do about that blackmail note, Alan?
I paid up.
Did you?
Yes, I gave Jackson the money.
When?
You know all this, but... Okay, on the day he died, I delivered the money. I had to leave it behind a telephone box just down the road.
There's no mention of this arrangement in the letter.
No, he called me shortly after.
I see. Fine. So, you paid him the money. How much, by the way?
£250. I told him that was all I was prepared to give.
So, you paid him the $250, and later that day, he was murdered.
Well, you know it couldn't have been me. I was with you.
It wasn't your brother, was it?
Not even a brother would be prepared to go that far.
Oh, I don't know. I can't remember where you were on that particular night, Tony.
I was with Adele.
Oh, yes, with your brother's wife. And you can vouch for that, Mrs. Richards.
Yes.
Yes. Well, I must say, I don't believe you. I think you killed George Jackson while your brother was giving his talk to our group. I think you followed Jackson back from the drop and confronted him in his house about what evidence, if any, he had about your brother's liaison with Anne Staveley. And when Jackson wouldn't play ball, you smashed his head open on his bedpost. How am I doing?
Well, it's rubbish, and you know it. Your sergeant took my brother's fingerprints, and they didn't match with the ones shown in Jackson's house. So what other evidence have you got?
And besides, if I'm prepared to cover up for my husband, why should he worry about being blackmailed in the first place? It doesn't make sense.
Well, I was hoping that you'd explain that to me.
I can't explain it because it didn't happen. Tony didn't kill Jackson.
That'll be Sergeant Lewis. Will you excuse me? Thank God you're here. I'm halfway up my own backside.
Sorry, sir. I've been chasing up that stuff on the Anne Staveley adoption and whatnot.
Later.
No, I think you should know this now. Anne Staveley's son was adopted by a family in Wales. I've spoken to him on the phone this morning. He's a postman.
Brilliant.
The husband was killed in a head-on collision just outside Portsmouth. The other driver was a pensioner, died instantly.
Naturally.
And I've also checked with Swansea. Edwin Murdoch doesn't even have a driving licence. Sophocles didn't do it.
Well, it looks as though I should send everybody home, as I'm clearly so far off beam.
Well, I hope that means you're going to leave us in peace from now on.
I don't think you can afford to be so righteous, Mrs. Richards.
Anyway.
Don't let us keep you.
Mr. Richard, we haven't met. I'm Sergeant Lewis.
Oh, hello.
What did you say?
I was just introducing myself to Mr. Richard.
Just say that again. Just repeat exactly what you just said.
We haven't met. I'm Sergeant Lewis.
You have met Lewis. You've taken this man's fingerprints.
No, so that's the Mr. Richards whose prints I took. Tony Richards.
Is this true?
I'm afraid so.
So which of you is Alan Richards?
Alan, don't try saying it's too late!
Ed. It's Morse.
Yes.
I want to try and close the Jericho case this evening. There's a few things I need to know just for my peace of mind.
All right.
Did you see Anne on the day she died?
Yes. Or rather, I saw her dead the day she died. I went round to the house in the morning and she was...
Right. And was there anything... Did you take anything from the room, or...?
Yes, I took money from her purse. It was money. You're not going to believe this. It was money she'd taken out the bank for me.
I believe you.
She thought she was paying for driving lessons. I can't even remember. Some story I invented to get cash from her.
All right, but no letters, so... You didn't disturb anything else?
No, I panicked. I was so desperate for heroin, I couldn't even... I should have phoned the police and saved her the humiliation from hanging there all day. I was so desperate.
Were you the father of her child?
I don't think that's possible, Inspector.
Oh.
I don't have relationships with women.
I see. Right. Okay. But there's just one more thing. A letter has come into my possession addressed to a Mr. Alan Richards and asking him for money. In fact, demanding money. I'm assuming that that letter was a sort of practical joke. Am I right in thinking that?
Yes.
Then you'd better have it back.
How did you know I sent it?
One of those guesses where you've guessed everything else and been wrong. And you typed the envelope, and I checked it with your typewriter. And anyway, it had to be you, because there wasn't anyone else, really. So, just genius.
Richards hurt Anne so much. That's why she killed herself. She was tired of being hurt by man. Had no qualms about trying to get money off him. He had plenty. And he was so cruel to Anne. She said once that she waited every day for him to call or arrive, and he didn't bother.
I'll let that be an end to it. Burn it.
I will. Thanks. I miss Anne. Inspector?
I'm still here. Yes, I miss her too. Did she ever say anything about me? I know she talked about me at the beginning when I was a bit clumsy about asking her out, but did she say anything after that?
I'm sorry. Not that I remember.
No. I just wondered.
Oh, sir. Some good news. I found the letter.
What letter?
I.M.T.D.O.J. It was inside one of Jackson's rods. They're hollow, it seems, the rods.
One letter.
Just said a letter, I don't know.
So, well, they couldn't have found it the first time round. What were they doing?
We couldn't find it.
Come on, hurry. No need to hold it up like a trophy. We all know what a fishing rod looks like. Who found it?
One of the boys, sir.
Well, I guess that.
Well, I think what happened is that one of the blokes is a bit of a keen fisherman, and he was admiring the rods when he came across the letter.
What are you trying to say, Lewis? Where did this admiration of the rod take place?
In the chap's garage, sir.
In the chap's garage. Taking his work home with him, was he?
I've spoken to the man, sir. I'm pretty confident it won't happen again. And the fact of the matter is he could have just thrown the letter away, so...
Is the rest of Jackson's tackle in the shed?
Absolutely, yeah. Definitely.
All right, well, we'll all stay here till we find out whether or not there are any more letters.
Sir... Does it say what you thought it would say?
It says that Richards broke her heart. Take a copy of it. Let Richards see it. Forget it. There won't be any others.
I think he thought she might have written a letter to somebody else. And he read this and changed his mind. Oh, don't just stand there. Get this place tidied up. And this time, leave the rods alone. You're a lucky lad, Dixon. On another day, you'd have ended up with one of them fish hooks up your backside.
Amazing. 4 of us went into that house on the day she died. First Jackson, then Ned Murdoch, then Adele Richards, and then me. And I'm the only one that came away empty-handed. Fancy a pint?
Ah, I'd like to,
Yes, I know.
I'll see you tomorrow.